Okay, even got a unicorn come to hear me talk. That's good. Be jumping on that later. So this is actually a presentation I finished about an hour ago. So it might not be that good, but we'll let you decide. And really, it's about stop innovating. I see many innovation groups come to me and ask my help, all the way from the Prime Minister's office to different countries to other banks and other industries. And the biggest single problem I see in an innovation group is trying to innovate. I actually think that's the worst thing you can do. And that's why most innovation groups I've seen that have failed, they made that fundamental error. They innovated. Controversial, yeah. Now, let me try and back that up and hope that I did finish the slide deck earlier. And so my point is just stop. Yeah, stop innovating, take some time out, work out a different strategy. If you are failing, for succeeding, keep going, and bear these points in mind. So the first thing you've got to ask is, why are you innovating? Why? Is it because the board said we need an innovation group like DBS Bank? Is it because you want some PR? Is it because you want new products and services? Is it because you want to change your culture? Is it because the government's got a fund so you get a free innovation lab and they'll pay for it? Ring any bells? And, what is it? Why are we innovating? That's the thing. And is everyone aware inside your organization on why you're innovating? And so if it is just for PR, then just focus on PR. Yeah, don't cause too many troubles. Don't try and change the culture. Don't worry too much about delivery. Just focus on creating PR. If it's a new products, just focus on products. But you've really got to understand is, why are we innovating? What do the executives expect from the outcome? Now, if they say, right, we want to innovate, so we want to make more money, whoa. That's pretty dangerous stuff, yeah? Trying to get new revenue from an innovation lab, unless it's like R&D, depends what industry you're in. But generally, to me, that's a huge red flag. That says to me, there'll be someone over you going, where's my money, where's my money, where's my money? Why did this prototype fail? Where's my new products? And so you've got to really think why you're innovating. If you're innovating to, which I think is really at a base level, an insurance policy to make sure your company's going to be here in 10 years, and then also as a way then to create a kind of structure across the organization that to create cheaper and better products and services, then I think that's a great way and a good reason why we should be innovating. And so I'm very lucky. I've got Piyush Gupta as my CEO. And at Investor Day, he called me out on our annual Investor Day. He said, the only person not allowed to innovate in DBS is Neil Cross. Well, a minute, I'm the Chief Innovation Officer. Maybe I should have read my job description. But his point was that actually our innovation group does not innovate. It's a sackable offense in my innovation group to innovate. We're all innovators, but we're not innovating. And that's a really important differentiation. I think that's why I say to people, just stop innovating, yeah? This industry is just full of dead prototypes for stuff, yeah? It's full of really smart, technical, exciting things which never got anywhere. And so I'm not allowed to innovate. In fact, the innovators at DBS is every single staff member. So it's 23,000 people, minus one, actually, on my team, who are the innovators at DBS. So that's the model. The onus for innovation is on them. So if DBS, see how beautiful my job is? One, I don't innovate. I'm the Chief Innovation Officer. Two, if it goes wrong, it's not my fault, it's the business. See, I used to be in sales, so I know how these things work, yeah? So I'm in a pretty good place here, yeah? So it's the business' fault if they don't innovate. As you can imagine, that does drive quite a bit of success. But the important thing, when I first started, I had 3 people there and a table in the middle of a floor of 500 people in the bank. Just consumer bank floor it was, level 5. I didn't even have a sign. There was 3 demotivated people. We had a table. That was the DBS Innovation Group. And so the first thing I had to do really is prime the machine. So how are we going to take what we have now and turn DBS into like globally recognized innovation powerhouse. And believe me, it takes a lot more than just doing some PR. It's incredibly hard. So for me, it's prime the machine. Get that machine ready, get it built, get it sharpened, get it focused in the right way, and then just get the thing then to drive across the organization and make that kind of innovation culture change. So the first thing, no, don't do technology. Who confuses innovation and technology? They're two different words. They're spelt differently. They're completely different things. What's this kind of, whenever I talk to someone about innovation, they're like, apps. App's not innovation. It's just like a little delivery mechanism for something. That's like saying, a hotel. Yeah, a hotel, that's about electricity, isn't it? No, it isn't. No, it uses electricity, yeah, but it's not. It's a hotel, yeah? And so people confuse technology and innovation. I've never really understood it. As a good example, my favorite innovation is the Moser light. Has anyone seen the Moser light? You see one every single day. So what it is, Joseph Moser in Brazil, he invented a light which is a bottle of mineral water. You put a bit of bleach in it, some water, you put a black cap on it, and you cut a hole in your tin roof, and you stick it through. That has changed the lives of tens of millions of people around the world. Because when there's a power outage, it's bright inside. When it's raining, it's bright inside. Mothers can do their small businesses. Kids can do their study. It's an old bottle of mineral water. It has changed the lives of tens of millions. It's all across Southeast Asia. It's all across South America. It's all across Africa. That is my favorite innovation. It's elegant, it's simplistic, and it solves the problem, yeah? And so don't do technology. That's my first guidance. Don't get excited when the new thing comes along, blockchain, or whatever, AI, ray, Bitcoins, VR. Oh, the world's all going to be VR. People are going to bank on VR. Of course they're not. I saw a bank did a VR demo. We actually queued in the branch in VR. And then you go to the counter and you can do a payment. Well, can't I just use my mobile app? Yeah, payment done. It's just technology for technology's sake is not helping the innovation industry. So what are you meant to do all day? Well, that's what I'll come to if there's no technology. Secondly, don't hire any experts. Experts, in my mind, is actually a bad word. When somebody says to me, I'm an expert, I'm like, well, switch off. You're ingrained in something that you only think around that certain subject. And so in my innovation group, I have 0 technologists. I don't have one. I have 0 experts. I don't hire people from banks. So if I hire technology people, what do you reckon the solution's going to be? Technology, yeah? They jump too quickly to technology. We never see things like the Moser light. If I hire more bankers, the answer is going to be a banking answer. Well, banks have had long enough to try and solve these problems. That's why they hired me. And I'm certainly not a banker. And so don't get experts. I mean, certainly consultants and other stuff, but I wouldn't hire like a payments expert. Because what am I going to get? At best, I'll get next year's payment innovation. Well, that's not going to help, is it? When the entire industry's been disrupted and new competitors are, coming from everywhere at the moment. I need someone who's really going to work out actually how are people going to fulfill purchase in 10 years' time, not, what's next year's kind of payment platform. So my guidance is just get highly motivated, passionate people who really care and can make stuff happen. So I've got someone who used to design headphones for creative. I've got ex-heads of innovation at airlines, telcos, advertising agencies. I've got salespeople. I've got ex-Singapore Air people because they're good at relationships. And so I've got a really odd construct. No one's technical and no one's a banker. The next thing is then start to build your programs. And so this is really the machine for execution. So once you start to get the team in place, you've got the talent, you've kind of got that bit right. You're starting to work out your strategy. It's not about technology. Then your vehicle for delivery has to be programmatic if you want to get to any level of scale. So we spent a lot of time just agonizing over our programs And then eventually I said, right, they're good enough, yeah, we've got to run them. So we set up programs where we have bankers working with startups, bankers working with bankers, bankers working with students, students working with students, students working with startups. Got all our programs in place. We've got the usual stuff, crowdsourcing, hackathon, lean startup, you name it. But they're only there to solve business problems. So they all have to be started by a business problem. Not because we were bored, sat in our beanbags going, oh, we should invent something. We're trying to solve problems. That's all we ever do. And so we get the programs up and running, and then you have to build the relationships. So you have to go in at the executive layer, and strangely enough, I found that most of them didn't want to work with me. Can't blame them, really. It took a lot of time, spending time with them. Because whatever you do, they have got a job to do, and you are consuming time. So you've got to spend time with them, ideally trying to work out, how do you get your bonus? And how, as an innovation group, can I help you get your bonus? You could never fail in that, whether it's running an innovation group or selling anything. If the thing I've got for them is going to help them get their bonus, if it's going to make them be successful, then they're going to work with me. So literally, one by one, building those relationships inside and outside the organization, and giving enough room for the innovation group, enough runway for the innovation group to succeed as we did the first launch. And that's most what I do. I do sales, I do marketing, I do PR, I do research, I inspire, and I don't give up. Do I do innovation? No, not at all. So relationships. I do the innovation in my spare time. Then you need to reverse gravity. So a lot of people think, I don't think innovation should ever be forced on anyone, unless it's a punishment, because that could be fun. It should be a pull. You need to reverse gravity. When I first started DBS, no one wanted to work with me. Nobody even wanted to talk to me. I was their 4th innovation leader in 2 years. The thing hadn't worked. You know, there's 3 people left. It kind of got some success earlier, but the last boss had gone 9 months, and the thing had fallen into a hole. I thought, right, so no one wants to work with me. Okay, why don't I innovate around, and see, this is what we do. We use our own innovation techniques to solve the innovation group's problem. There's a tip. I don't see many innovation groups that do that. We crowdsource our strategy every year using crowdsourcing, me and my team. After every program, we do a customer journey on how the participants went through our program. So use your tools on yourself. And so what we did, we thought, right, how are we going to reverse gravity? How are we going to get business people wanting to work with the innovation group? So we created this daily innovation briefing of all the world's best innovation, daily. We got a company to do it for us, absolutely beautiful, really, really sexy, high-impact stuff, delivered daily. And we said to people, if you come on an innovation workshop, we'll give you access to this report. And they loved it. And then they'd forward it to other people. They'd say, hey, I want this report. And then we'd go, well, you have to come on an innovation workshop. All right, yeah, I'll do that. They got the report. Eventually, I got MDs ring me up, where's my report? So we changed the model to if you ask for it, you can get it. I bought the license for the whole bank, but I just eked it out like that. Start to reverse gravity. People go, I want to be on a course. I want the report. And then we did stuff. We got startups to come in. We've had like renowned experts. This morning we had Greg Horowitz, who wrote the book Rainforest, who helps countries build their Silicon Valley. He came in and had a chat into our innovation community. You know, we've had Gary Kasparov, Gary Vander, I was going to say another word, Chuck, I think. The guy likes to swear a lot. And so then we'd make it exciting. We have water pistol fights, we've had laser tags, we had pillow fights, we've had all sorts of fun. We smash eggs just for fun, we try and work out ways to stop the egg smashing. We make it exciting and appealing. Because whenever I see a change or a transformation in a company, do you know what it looks like? Boring and painful. So you've got to transform. Here's the 1,000,000 tasks you've got to do, and here's all the pain you've got to go through. Who's up for it? Like, no. So you've got to make it exciting. People want to do innovation, I want to try this, I want to spend time with startups. You want to be a startup coach? Yeah, do it. You want to set up your own startup? We'll pay you. Do you want to come see Gary Vaynerchuk? Yeah, sure. Isn't this fun? Isn't this exciting? We're inventing the future of finance. Be on board with this. And so we reverse gravity. And suddenly, suck. And then I went from 3 people to 30 people in quite a short time period. And then it's easy. No, it isn't. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. If I had a choice to do this again, I don't think I'll do it. It's incredibly hard. You just repeat, you improve, you build more people out, keep your culture of your team going, try and take your team culture into the wider organization, refine your programs, run. We ran 350 projects last year. We engaged 8,000 staff from DBS. We did over 100 hackathons, talked to 2,000 startups, did 1,600 experiments with a small team, just constant churn, constantly just keep going, never give up, never give up, never give up, never give up. Persistence is really significant in innovation. It's hard, yeah, and it feels like this every single day. It's really hard. And you've got to keep your team motivated to complete this challenge. Now, that was pretty much it, but I did put in some bonus slides. And so my bonus slides were, 1, do the hardest thing first. The hardest thing for us was creating a culture of innovation where 23,000 bankers would be innovation superstars. Why do I do the hardest thing first? 1, it's more fun. 2, more importantly, if you do the easy stuff first and then you move on to the hard and you can't do the hard, you have to throw it all away. So better to try the hard first, because if you can't do it, it's not going to work. And so I see this a lot in startups. They do the easy stuff, build some tech, do this, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no, do the business model first. Test the business model. Will it ever make money? Will it ever scale? That's the hard stuff, yeah? Once you got that, do the easy stuff. Tech is easy. Geez, you can build anything, a bit of drag and drop. I remember writing an assembler, which was basically typing 1s and 0s into a machine. That is hard software development. Yeah, building a computer game like that. 8 colors, 8-bit, 1 megahertz machine. You try writing a game in that. Technology is really easy, so don't do that first. Just go for the hardest stuff. Secondly, don't build a lab. What a stupid idea. No, but seriously, though, who would want to build a lab? There's so many companies that go, I'm going to build a lab now. I did this when I launched my lab. My lab's been live a year, yeah? I had 3 years of innovation success. We were using meeting rooms as workshops. We were renting hotels. Our innovation capability was exploding across DBS, and I had no lab. Well, a lot of companies go, right, we'll build a lab. Now we're going to innovate. No, it's not working. Put more beanbags in there. Does it work? Yeah. What about the big Lego blocks? Put some big. What about unicorn? Unicorn. But my point is, labs aren't bad, but don't think it's going to make you innovate. What makes you innovate is your innovation engine that you've primed ready and then launched, which is creating wholesale change across the organization. A lab is just a space to help with that. And so we got 350 projects, but in our lab, we probably do about 20 a year through there. The rest, we just do at people's desks or around Asia. That's the important thing. Don't think it's going to solve all your problems. Unless the Singapore government are paying for it, then giddy up, take their money. Right, and my final slide is when I am the boss. So through my career, I've always said, right, when I'm the boss, I'm going to do it differently. And I suppose many of you in here may not be a chief innovation officer. What you want to think of when you're the boss, it is the time to do what you want. And all those things that you hated in your career, those bad managers you had, those bad interactions, this is the time to change that, yeah, and be a great leader. I'm not saying I'm a great leader, but I'm certainly not a bad leader. And so the 4 things that I thought when I'm boss I want to give to my team. 1, protection. My team are there to cause trouble, yeah? Sometimes they cause a little bit too much. But whose fault is it? Mine. Every time, yeah? And so I want them to go out and push the boundaries, but they need to know when I get a complaint, even from a senior director at the bank, it's my fault. End of story. It won't affect their career, it won't affect their bonus. In fact, it might affect their bonus upwards if they've made the right bit of friction and made someone feel quite uncomfortable that they're going to change. Secondly is freedom. In my team, there is a job that needs to be done for the bank. The rest of the time, it's completely free. I've had junior people designing programs come into me and say, hey, what about this? What about that? Like 25-year-olds. I'm like, no, that's good. Reshape it this way. Let's give it a go. So freedom to do what they want outside of the stuff that needs to be delivered. Third is inspiration. If you ask any of my team, they will tell you all they're doing is the world's best. Whatever they do is world's best, whether it is or not. I kind of tell them it is, but I lie sometimes. But they think they are doing world's best. That's all they do. They've only got two levels. World's best, or it's the weekend and I'm not working. They're so inspired to do this. And finally, education. And not, innovation education is very useful, design thinking, lean startup. I teach them sales, negotiation, pitching, all this stuff that helps them operate effectively in a corporate and essentially get someone to do something different that's going to be successful. And finally, all of us, and I just want the bank and everyone in the bank just to do this one thing. It's pretty simple. The career's best work. I'm doing my career's best work. My team are doing my career's best work. Now we just need to get more than 23,000 people doing their career's best work. That's pretty much it. That's me. Hope you like the new one. And I'll take some questions if we've got time. If not, I'll go get some food. Thank you.